Okay, it went.
Okay, you can start now.
A special good evening to Mr. Bisu and good evening, class. Today, my group member, Dion Ted, and I, Sadiqa Mohammed, will be presenting on the chapter Understanding Complex Organization. The overview of this presentation, we will be looking at several topics to help us learn about this chapter. For this lecture, we will be examining leadership in an organizational setting. In this context, the significance will be focusing on the relational leadership model and its five aspects: purpose, inclusivity, empowerment, ethics, and process. For groups and organizations, now my question to the class is, do you think it is easy to differentiate between a group and an organization?
A group, as we had said before in the last present, when we had did the presentation with teams and groups, I would say in my own words, a group are a couple of people who come together. Could be formally or informally. Whereas organizations, I would say, is like companies or places of work.
Okay, yeah. Okay, so the differentiation between groups and organizations can be difficult, and this can be distinguished by the following characteristics. So who, what, when, where, how, and why. So who? A group can be small to medium, meaning it can be 2 to maybe 10 people. And we can see an example of this would be at the beginning of the semester, Sir actually split us up into groups of 2 to 3 in order for us to do these presentations. And an organization is large and is normally 20 plus person. So an example of an organization, we could look at COSTAT. So in COSTAT, there are different groups or faculties that actually make up the organization to help it function. What so a group has a number of individuals, but an organization has a number of groups. When? So both groups and organizations interact continuously in order to fulfill their purpose. Where? So groups are normally in close range, whereas an organization can range from close to far. How? Is it a simple structure, which will be a group? You could keep track of it, or is it a complex structure, which is an organization? So, it will. So again, looking at COSTAT, there is a president, a VP. We have different deans. We have different head of department, um, different faculty members, and why. So both groups and organizations have a purpose um, that they need to fulfill. So, a group consists of two or more individuals coming together to form a unit to complete a particular goal or task, while an organization consists of large amounts of groups of individuals that come together and continuously interact in a complex in a complex structure to accomplish a specific goal. The success of an organization depends on the various groups within staying connected so they can work easily and efficiently together. Organizations as a complex structure. System. Organizations are systems, and a system is defined as an environment where interaction between members produces outcomes that will affect individuals and the outcome. Kevin Kelly introduced the 9 laws of God, which he described as the organizing principles in a system as diverse as biological evolution. And these laws also apply to organizational systems, as it is believed that these qualities describe life both in and out of an organization. And while an organization can be a challenging place, It can also be a place that holds talent and great potential because of the variety of people working with you. Now, looking at the 9 laws of God, we have distribute being. So, the essence of the organization exists in all of its connected members. Control from the bottom up. Empower members at all levels of the organization. Cultivate increase in return. Focus on what your organization does well and do it even better. Grow by chunking. Organizations grow, not one piece at a time, but in bunches. Maximize your fringes. Honor your creative members and their ideas, even if they're really out there. So sometimes in most organizations, because somebody's idea is out of the box or not within maybe their boss or their boss thinking, they will be like, no, your idea is not good enough. And they put down their employee, and that is not how it is. It's good to be creative. Honor your errors. It is only through trial and error that learning happens. When you make an error, obviously you learn from it, and then you could go back and try again and probably get it right this time. Pursue no optima, have multiple goals. There is no one right answer to a complex problem. There are only many partial solutions. Seek persistent disequilibrium. This equilibrium brings energy into the organization. Change changes itself. Change leads to more change, which leads to the initial change. So, organizational leadership. Leadership exists in an organization because it helps groups work together to complete and accomplish a specific purpose. Leadership also helps organizations to be sustainable and to exist for a long period. The relational leadership model helps leaders to accomplish the purpose of an organization by being inclusive, having a purpose, empowering others, using ethics, and having a process. This will help leaders and members to work together to successfully accomplish and change goals. Organization structures. So, for this particular topic, we'll be looking at 3 organizational structures. So, an organization consists of structures that can make day to day tasks and operations easier. Max Weber created the classic bureaucratic model for organizations, which has clear rules and regulations on how an organization should operate. This structure was created to help with the order in an organization. And in this model, the president has the authority, responsibility, and power at the top for leading an organization. And as the structure goes down, it flows to officers, committee chairs, and members. So, as we can see in the picture for the traditional organizational structure, we have the president at the top of the pyramid. And this structure believes that the committee chair, officers, and the members actually work for the president. So it was called for the traditional organizational structure to be rearranged where the pyramid is flipped and the structure will now give the organization opportunity to be more interactive and collaborative. And this will now give members across the entire environment the wants, needs, and talents of the organization's membership. So for the inverted organizational structure, the members, participants, committee chairs, and officers are to the top of the president. So this structure believes that the president works for the members and committee chairs. So it's all about working together to complete the purpose of the organization. And lastly, the concept of the web is another organizational structure that exists. The web is defined both by its pattern and by the idea that the shape and pattern of the web will vary over time. This structure works well in an environment filled with change, as the pattern is continually being built up, stretched, altered, modified, and transformed. The process of trial and error constantly takes place in the web structure. Processes that are successful continue and strengthen the entire web, whereas those that are not successful change into something new. This change is more easily accomplished because communication and decision making power are distributed throughout the web. So, as we can see for the structure of the web, the common purpose is at the center. So, this structure actually believes that the purpose of the organization or the reason that it exists is actually more important than its leadership. So, now we'll be looking at organizational mission, vision, and core values. So, my question is, do you think an organization needs a mission, vision, and core values for it to function?
I don't necessarily think it does for it to function, but having mission, vision, and values, I think it helps with the members or the individuals of the organization to stay on track with clear goals and the purpose and what it is, what are the objectives of the organization.
Okay, so I actually have to agree. I think the reason for having a mission and vision is actually good, so members will be able to work towards what an organization would stand for. So right, so first we'll be looking at mission. The success or failure of an organization is determined by how its mission is displayed through actions and its vision. The mission of an organization should answer the question, why does this organization exist? The mission statement should include information about the organization so it can reflect the personality and what it stands for. This statement should be shared so it can guide the actions of the organization and its members. The effectiveness of an organization is determined by how well it works towards its mission. So, we'll actually be looking at Custard's mission. And the example is to be the premier educational system in providing high quality, affordable, and accessible educational programs, serving the needs of business, industry, and diverse campus communities, and facilitating the professional and personal development of its students, faculty, and staff. Vision. The vision of an organization answers the question, what do we want to be, or what is the best we can be? The vision that the organization chooses challenges both the leader and the members to do their best and to get closer to the mission of why the organization exists. The vision must tap into the motivational system of the people in the organization, and this is why it's important for the mission and vision statement to be clearly stated and inspiring. So Costard's vision statement says to be student-centered, dynamic, and innovative, world-class multi-campus college promoting excellence in teaching and learning, serving communities and producing lifelong learners who can compete globally. And core values answer the question how the organization members agree to treat themselves and others as the pursuit of the mission and vision. Core values, also known as guiding principles, are important for the organization's success as they are discussed and shared among the members. Without core values in an organization, any action will be justifiable once it moves the organization towards the mission and vision. So, some examples of core values that a business may want will be like loyalty, passion, honesty, um, efficiency, optimism, or positivity.
So organizational culture. Edgar Sachin defines this form of organizational culture as a pattern of shared basic assumption that was learned by a group as it solves its problem of external adaptation and internal integration that has worked well enough to be considered valid and therefore to be taught to new members as the correct way to perceive, think, and feel in relation to those problems. So this model is mostly seen in institutions or organizations with a vast number of years in existence, in which the structure or procedure, the values and the qualities of members are seen in a set format, which are followed by existing and taught to new members as the right way to do things or how to behave. This could bring about some positive attributes, to an organization as it would have gone through an errand trial phase and therefore can be seen or proven as the correct way to do things. However, an organizational culture can also negatively affect life within an organization. Stacy 1992 notes strongly shared cultures inevitably block new learning and cut down on the variety of perspective brought to bear on issues. And a good example of this is that in my department, I'm doing my bachelor's in biology. And in our last year, we are required to do an internship. However, we are not allowed to go outside of Custard to do our internship. We have to do it within Custard. And I feel like that's their culture and they don't want to change it because they say that they cannot monitor us outside of Custard. And I felt like they are blocking our learning and issues that we may have outside of Custard where we may not have experience in the lab. In Custard, now we cannot get to know about it. I don't know if anyone have that type of similar thing happening within their department.
What department is that?
Natural and life sciences. My degree is biology.
Biology. Okay.
Yeah.
So you have to work in our labs then.
Yeah, basically our internship has to take place within the labs. So we cannot go outside of custard. And we have rallied for it, but
Well,
because that
the problem doesn't really lie so much with, because I'm a little familiar with that issue. The problem doesn't
mhm,
lie so much with us not wanting to place
mhm.
students outside. It has to do with the employers don't want you. Um,
Well, I don't
it's
think
not
I
that
don't
they
think
don't
I don't
want you. They don't want to participate in the evaluation methodology that we have. We have
well I know
tried it in the past, and we had really bad experiences with
okay.
um, some labs taking advantage of the students and putting them in danger. So
Okay.
there was a health issue that came up. But I mean, I suppose your head of department may have discussed these things with you. I hope.
Well, they have, but we have also went on and asked. We also had like people who were really interested in genuinely helping us to ensure that we get this experience that we needed. However, it was still denied by the department. So,
All right.
but
Well, I wish you all luck, because I know having external experiences is outside of an organization can open your eyes up to different circumstances and situations
right, exactly, yeah.
that would
So
be meaningful. Yeah, I agree with you with that. So, but
yeah,
I know there are some serious complications involved with it. All right.
and I understand that as well. I understand that as well.
I
So
guess
I know
what we need to strike is a balance.
it's a balance. Well, I guess so too. Yeah.
All right.
So this takes me to organizational network. Jessica Lipnick and Jeffrey Stamps define networks as where desperate groups of people and groups link to work together based on a common purpose. Organizational network is basically filling the gap between individuals, departments, or even organization, bringing them together to create a more effective and efficient organization. And to take Costard, for example, Costard needs to network with probably most secondary schools in order to have a proper enrollment into Costard every year to ensure that the organization continue to run because they are continuous interest, as well as different departments need to network with different departments. Example, NatSci need to network with the registry or admin, for example. So networking, therefore, is important because it provides the chance to bring together a wide range of individuals which may have skills and qualities that may be beneficial to the organization. So life cycle of organization. Critical points in the success of an organization is ability to adapt to change, changing condition, changing membership, and changing leadership. This ability to adapt enables an organization to renew itself and maintain its vibrancy. Most critical and often overlooked responsibility of leadership is to identify, recruit, prepare, and mentor the future leaders of organization. So John Garner, 1992, presents the concepts of lives of organization. In that concept, he portrays it as infancy and maturity. In the infancy stage, when the organization is young, they are very flexible and motivated, are willing to try new things, and have the ability to respond quickly to new challenges. Yet they may accomplish very little. In the maturity stage, the organization is mature, flexibility lessens, and they become more orderly and are more satisfied with slow, steady advances. ADs, however, goes more in detail and uses the term courtship, infancy, go-go, adolescence, prime, stable, aristocracy, early bureaucracy, and the depth to describe a similar change process. This is presented in the graph next. So in this graph here, we see they start off with courtship. And this first stage of an organization development, at this stage, the company is not yet born. It exists as a gleam in the founder's eyes. The focus of courtship is necessary to dream and responsibilities. So some problems that they face in this stage is overexcitement, possibility unwarranted, fuzzy on many details, fear, uncertainty, and doubts. And it goes to the infancy stage. This is the stage where financial risk has been taken. The founder quits her paying job or his paying job, signs loan documents, or promises 40% of the company towards investors. At this stage, they experience customer problems with the product or service, struggle to compete product or service, chasing sales to generate cash that are not related to core business. In the go-go stage, the organization is a company that has a successful product or service, rapidly growing sales, and strong cash flow. The company is not only surviving, it's flourishing. Key customers are raving about the product and ordering more. This stage, problems that they may experience is self-confidence. Everything is a priority. consistent human resource management, confusion in role and responsibilities. And the prime stage, no, there's the adolescent stage, then the prime stage. So the adolescent stage is the company is reborn. This second bit is an emotional time where the company must find a life apart from the that provided by its founder. This critical transformation is much like the rebirth of a teenager goes through to establish independence from their parents. And in this, so there are three principles that challenges this process, and it's decentralization of authority, change in leadership from entrepreneurship to professional management, and goal displacement. And in the prime stage, the optimal position on the life cycle, where the organization finally achieve a balance between control and flexibility, where most organizations will like to. The organization is guided by the vision and its reason for being. There is a clear purpose, and people know what they will do and will not do. They walk, they talk. And then there's the fourth stage where no organization will want to be. And this fourth stage is positioned at the top of the life cycle curve, but it is not the place to be, as I just said. The position is prime, where organization vitality is at its maximum. Companies that are in that fourth phase have started to lose their vitality and are aging. And you can see it goes straight down to death. So once you reach the fourth stage, you go straight down to death. So no company will really want to be in that fourth stage, which will allow them to reach to death and probably inexistence. So this takes me to multicultural organizational development. One way to approach organizational transformation is through the concept of multicultural organizational development. Amor and Haynes and Jackson and Olvino offer similar models for multicultural organizational development. The model shows the organization moving from a perspective that is monoculture and exclusionary to one that is compliant and non-discriminatory through an redefinition process, and finally to a multicultural perspective. So in this module, in this organizational type of organizational development, it shows that everybody is inclusive. Everybody, ideas, opinions, everything is matter. No matter where you're from, they will listen to you and things can work out for the better good of the organization. This process emphasizes the full participation of members from all culture and social groups, and a commitment to end all forms of social oppression that may exist within the organization that blocks the meaningful, inclusive involvement of all members. So I now move on to learning organizations. Singer 1994 included the module of personal mystery, mental model, shared vision, and team learning. Personal mystery involves individuals doing the best possible job. Mental models are the assumption that people make about the various aspects of the world. Shared vision focuses on the idea that mission, vision, and purpose of an organization must be shared by all members. Team learning is vital in any learning organization, and others like Watkins and Sanger noted that learning at the individual level must be supplemented by learning at the team, organizational, and societal level if any true learning is to occur. And I guess that's why most of the time they put us in group work and all this to do group work and to do group presentation and these type of thing. And I see this in probably one of my course in probably chemistry, where every class after the lecturer teaches her course, we goes into group work to we goes into group work to do like questions and them kind of thing to help out each other. Probably someone may know more than each other. So that way, I guess team learning is important. And I'm sure it probably work in organization and organizational setting as well. A system approach, however, governs the thinking in any learning organization. When people think systematically, they share responsibility for the good and bad things that are happening, rather than looking for someone else to blame. Members of a learning organization holds up the mirror and asks what they have done to contribute to the problem. So now I move on to virtuality and the impact of technology. So understanding virtuality and impact of technology is an essential role of, and its impact on organizational life is crucial. Charles Charles Handy defines a virtual organization as organizations that do not have all the people or sometimes any of the people in one place in order to deliver their service. And this is very much clear in this time where we had to move from class learning to online learning, whereas most organizations would have moved from working in the office to working at home online. However, Handy, Singers, and Badner believes that the trust will be extremely important and very difficult to develop when people do not often see each other face to face. And this is something as well that most organizations are grappling with because they don't, some of them probably feel that they probably are not getting value for money when people are working from home. And whereas it may not be true because a lot of the time, most of the time, when people working from home, they tend to put in more work because they probably work in longer hours later in the night and this type of thing. Davidow and Malone, 1992, noted that organizations can certainly be flattened. This is very valid because whereas in an organizational setting, you may have a supervisor or a manager to manage staff to ensure that they're doing their jobs and this type of thing. And now, because people are working from home, certain levels of hierarchy may be diminished because there's no need for it because they probably would have gained that trust so that they know that these people will now do their job as required. And this leads me to new paradigm leadership in conventional paradigm culture. This can be seen as a fresh form of leadership in all organizational culture. This method may create predicament between other leaders and members within the organization as your new way of learning or thinking contradict the normal culture. Which would have created dilemmas. But their question may arise of how would one act in this type of organization? And some of the basic questions are by sharing information. And by sharing information with other leaders, members of organization, by advising any other who may listen, may create or implement some kind of interest within someone to listen and probably to rally with you to create change. And also by sharing this information, you also understand more what you are sharing in this new paradigm culture. And that leads me to my conclusion. And So at the end of this chapter, we were able to discuss why organization exists and how they are structured, in addition to exploring the importance of mission, vision, and core values. We also have discussed what the virtual organization of or the future might look like, and why being ethical is important to an organization. Finally, we found that it is only when the vision or common purpose is truly shared by the entire organization that an organization can reach its potential and be purposeful. And that leads me to the end of our presentation for today. Are there any questions that anyone may have?
Yes, just one question. In the part where you were talking about the culture in the organization, right? Is
Mhm.
it, would you say, you could give me a personal opinion, do you think that the culture of the organization is set by the mission, vision, and core values of the company, or do you think that it is set by the individuals within the organization and their behavior, or could it be a combination of the two?
Um, because the culture would have been created based on past experience of the organization, so they would have gone through a lot of things and then say that this is how things will be done from now on. I can
Mm-hmm.
say that it would have been created by probably the leaders of the organization, but it may would have spanned from, but at the end of the day, an organization mission, vision, and value is always determined by what the leaders would like for their organizations. So I think they will create a culture that will then will try to reflect their mission, vision, and core values.
Okay, thank you.
Good night. In terms of the organizational structure, the upside down pyramid specifically, can we have an example of a company in Trinidad and Tobago or regionally or internationally of that kind of structure?
Well, I mean, I can't think of a company at the moment. However, if I was supposed to refer it to Costa, what they do is try. Okay, so like Mr. Bisu, right? He's our lecturer, but he is here to guide us, to give us the information. However, we now, as a class or somebody that is working with him, have to be collaborative, right? To get our work done. So we have a purpose, and our purpose is to complete this course and understand it. So we now work together, whether it's as a class or with Mr. Bisu, to get the purpose done. I don't know if that makes sense.
So, in other words, with the upside down pyramid, what you're saying is like Mr. Bisu is like a transformational leader, in where he is allowing the class to participate in the course, and by guiding us, he's not like just lecturing or leading the
Yes.
class with the different chapters that we have to cover. Correct?
Yes, I would have
Okay.
to definitely agree with that. I admire Mr. Bisu with, just a simple thing like, the chapters uploaded, how you'll go in. Not much lecturers do that, a lot of lecturers just throw the assignments or throw the lectures to us and just hope that, everything good. So
Mm-hmm.
I would definitely say so.
Okay.
Any more questions? I will take that for a no, and I think we
I
will.
don't think we have any more questions.
Thank you for the two questions that were presented to us. I hope we gave you all the best possible, correct answer. And that comes to the end of our presentation. Thank you for listening, and thank you, sir, for having us.
All right. Good job, guys. I'm going to stop the recording now.